What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I got another video in our 2022 NBA Draft Player Breakdown series. Today I'm going to be going over Arkansas big man Jaylin Williams. Jaylin Williams is someone who has seen his draft stock increase quite a bit over the course of the last year. And I think specifically the NCAA tournament helped him as he played really well in that. I think it just kind of solidified him as someone who will get drafted and could potentially have moved him into the first round. And so I think we got a good video today. Make sure you leave your thoughts on Jaylin down in the comment sections and below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So just a little bit of an introduction into Jaylin Williams. Jaylin Williams is a 6'10", 240-pound center, maybe slash forward out of Arkansas. He's originally from Fort Smith, Arkansas. So he's another guy who decided to stay home and play for his home state school. And I think that ended up being a good decision for Jaylin, as he ended up having a pretty good 2 years there. And Arkansas was a good team both years, making deep tournament runs both years. And I think he showed his ability to be a glue guy and someone that can be in a rotation for a good team and be a productive player. He took a pretty big jump from his freshman year to his sophomore year. Statistically, ended up averaging about 11 and 10 a game as a sophomore. And like I said, ended up being a glue guy for Arkansas. Someone who did a lot of little things. Maybe not all the stuff he did showed up on the box sheet, but was a good player for him. And I think he can find a similar role in the NBA. So in terms of strengths, I think that Jaylin Williams has a couple of key strengths that will really help him be successful at the NBA level. It could help him find a spot in a rotation for a really good high-level team. I think the first thing that really stands out when you watch Jaylin Williams play is his ability to rotate on defense and be a help defender. He's kind of known in college as being someone who drew a ton of charges, and that's exactly what he did. He just always seemed to be in the right spot defensively and setting up to take a charge, and it really does put fear in some offensive players in terms of not wanting to pick up another foul, make them stop short of the hoop, take a floater or a jump shot with a hand in the face, whatever. And I think just his ability to rotate and be a team defender was huge for Arkansas. And I think that if he can continue to do that at the NBA level, I think that it's really valuable. And there's not a lot of guys in the league that can kind of consistently put themselves in that spot, especially at that big man position. Now, in terms of offensively and what Jaylin Williams can bring to the game, he's never going to be a go-to scorer in the low post and be someone you can just throw it to on the block and expect him to score every time. But he is someone who has demonstrated the ability to have a little right hand baby hook. You put a smaller guy on him, he can go to that and score pretty effectively there. But I think his role offensively mainly is going to be someone who stands in that dunker spot, could catch lobs, as he's a good athlete at 6'10", 240 pounds. He's someone who I think in that short roll situation, and you put him in those 4-on-3 situations, can be someone who can attack kind of that guy in the middle of the defense and put pressure on them that way. And then I think the one thing that I really like about his game is that he's shown a lot of flashes of the ability to be a playmaker and someone who can make reads out of those pick and roll situations. And I think if he's kind of the roll guy on those short rolls and you put him in those 4-on-3 situations and make him make a decision, I think he's someone who can be a pretty adequate player out of that. I think that he's a smart guy. I think he knows how to play. And I think that he did show enough flashes at Arkansas where he can do that. And so I think that's a plus for him. It's something he's going to have to get better at, and he'll get better at it as he gets in those situations more. But I think that's something that down the line he could become really good at. And I just think overall the strength for Jaylin Williams is that he's 6'10". He can run the floor. He's a decent athlete. He can play defense. He can rotate. He can draw charges. He can be a team defender. He can block a few shots. He's not the greatest shot blocker, but he can block a few shots. And then offensively, he's got a little bit of potential in terms of ability to shoot the ball. He can make reads out of the pick and roll and pass in roll situations. And then he has some ability to potentially be a lob threat and just be someone who can stand in that dunker spot and catch lobs. And so there's nothing really flashy about Jaylin Williams' game. But like I said, I think the thing for him is going to be he's a glue guy. He's a glue guy. And I think that's the biggest strength for him, is just his ability to fit in on a good team and make winning plays. As far as weaknesses go, I think the big weakness for Jaylin Williams is going to be his ability to shoot the ball. Just did not shoot it well in his time in college. His freshman year took about an attempt a game and shot about 30% on that, which isn't bad for a big guy. Especially with kind of the form he had, but really regressed his sophomore year while also increasing the volume, increased that about to 2 attempts a game, and the percentage dropped to about 24%, which is not good. Again, the form is kind of there. I think it's something you can work on. I think that he could be someone who could hit standstill threes at some point in his career, but it's, again, something that he's going to have to work on and get better at if he wants to become someone who could be that pick and pop kind of versatile big guy. Other things that I would consider weakness for him is that he doesn't necessarily have an elite characteristic or trait. He's not an elite athlete. He's not an elite offensive player. He's not an elite defensive player. He's someone like who I said in the strengths is just kind of a glue guy and can be someone who could fit in and make winning plays. But in terms of just a skill set, I don't know if there's necessarily one elite trait outside of him being good at taking charges. And so that could definitely limit his potential and maybe limit his upside, and ultimately be maybe one of the reasons why he's not a first-round draft pick. Overall, if Jaylin Williams does end up being a late first-round draft pick, that means that he's probably going to a pretty good team, which I think would be a good situation for him, as I think he's someone who just kind of would fit in with a good team and someone who needs a serviceable big guy that can give them some minutes early in his career. And I think Jaylin could do that. I think that he's a good enough playmaker. He's a good enough just overall basketball player where he can fit in with a good team and make winning plays. If he's on a not as great team, I don't think that he's going to put up necessarily eye-popping stats or be someone who contributes or is potentially a Rookie of the Year type guy. But I think that eventually he'll find himself, just like I said, in winning situations, and he makes winning plays. And so he's a good player, borderline first-round guy. We'll see where he ends up going. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of his game, all that. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys later.